This
working as a
conference will now be recorded.
So, since you are a developer, might be you're aware of all coding and all, right?
Yes, yes. I have knowledge on shell scripting and all. I'm able to write the scripts and all. Yeah.
Okay, shell scripting and any
Yeah.
programming skill set, programming languages.
Java, I have some little bit knowledge, but I don't have hands-on experience. But I can understand.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine, fine. Just I'm asking the reason. See, this is Java. Groovy is like a Java language, but not exactly Java. So if you are good in shell scripting, then okay, many things actually feel like a shell script only. The same way we write it, we will see it. Okay, no problem.
Okay.
So I'll just give you briefly like what we covered, maybe 2-3 minutes. I'll just heads up. Then later we will move to the concept. Okay. So see, initially the demo, only the demo we did first. That is actually the what we are going to cover in the complete training. That was actually the first initial session. So that we started with the Groovy basics. So we understood what is the differences between scripting languages and programming languages. So anyway, I'll share this recording. So since you're already aware of shell scripting, you'll understand easily. But still, if you have any questions, we can also plan some other 1 hour backup session. There is no problem for that. Okay. So, but you watch the recording first, then later let me know so that we will schedule some other 1 hour separate session for that. But I'm just giving idea now what we cover. So I just explained in the first session like the differences between scripting languages and programming, and on what basis we are calling as a scripting and what basis we are calling this is a programming. And coming to the Groovy, whether it is a scripting language or programming, and the specific reason for that, how exactly the Groovy works. And actually Groovy is a scripting language. It's an interpreter based language. But I explained that it's not like shell interpreter. There is some difference in the Groovy interpreter. So means it actually first compile, then later it start execution line by line. So these are the things actually we discussed, internal things. And then I explained what the content we are going to cover, like basics, then operators, conditional statements, loops, and then the list of variables, whatever the list of variables in the Groovy, and then file handling concept and regular expressions, the purpose of that, and then also functions concept we are going to cover, and modules and exception handling, and the command line arguments are positional parameters, and including with object oriented. So this is the complete content actually. I'm just giving briefly like what exactly we are going to cover. So I said it takes actually 20 hours. This is actually the first session. We discussed more about the topics. And in the last session, which is yesterday, which was actually yesterday, the last session, I started basic concepts. Okay. And we understood how to write Groovy script. And then we understood the history. And then we understood the different versions. And then, how to write the comments in Groovy. These are all the things we covered, more about this. And also later we started variables, but not yet completed. We just started variables. And the variables actually, the different types of list of variables we discussed. And then and then we just mentioned that how to define a variable 3 different ways. So we will continue from there. So we will see from the variables now. So the writing Groovy script anyway you'll understand now again. So that is very simple. So the first thing we need to install Groovy, so that actually you can check from the Google. You can download and install it already. If you have, then no problem. You can verify first what version you are using. So you can actually verify like this: Groovy space hyphen version. So I'm using 3 point version. So whenever if you want to install Groovy, two things required. First, Java we should install, and then on top Groovy actually we have to install, because Groovy it works on JVM. Okay, so fine. That is the basic things actually. And then coming to the like how to write the script. Anyway, we will see again here now. So let me write the session 3 here. So I'm just writing here. So this is a session 3. So here we will cover today more about the variables, and then we will discuss more about how to take input from the keyboard, and then how to check the type of the variable, how to convert the data type, and then the list of operators. After this, also we will see the conditional statements today. So conditional statements, the list of conditional statements. So these are again I can say basics, but the variables again it is somehow different from other languages. For example, in shell scripting, so we don't have actually map concept. So means that is a dictionary concept. We have arrays, but we never use generally. We simply define variable and then we execute it. Mostly we use shell scripting for commands execution. But here we have a different types of variables. And also the more important here, I said it's like a Java language. So we should even concentrate sometimes on data types. See, the data types basically not required since it's a scripting language, but only the reason since we are writing with the combination of sometimes Java. So I said even Java code you can execute with the Groovy directly, it will execute. So that is why we should also know that the data types whenever if you are writing Groovy. Okay, the data types means what is integer, what is short, what is long, what is boolean, these are the things. Just a minute. So see how to write a script. It is very simple. Just open any text editor. I'm opening this text editor. I'm using Notepad++ here. I'm using Notepad++. So any text editor we can use, or any IDE also we can use, like Eclipse. We can use NetBeans. Whatever the editor is fine. The IDE is fine. So I'm using here normal text editor, Notepad++ only. And then script we should save with .groovy extension. See, I'm saving this file, save as, and then I'm using session 3 underscore script. Okay, .groovy. This is the extension. So the extension is must on Windows, but in Linux flavors it's optional. But always best practice, we should use the extension. So I'm using that extension, but save as type should be all types. So the reason I have explained yesterday, without using all types, what happens? For example, if I type dir, I have saved one file, actually a1.groovy, but I didn't selected all types. Then it saved actually like a .txt. So it's a mandatory always whenever if you are saving any file with a .groovy like this, recommended to go with what? So for example, see, if you write a file name, you should select save as type should be all types. That is mandatory. Okay, remember this. Otherwise, it will save file like a .groovy.txt. Again, it will be normal text file only. So this is first thing. Okay, now coming to this again, back to the variables here. So what is variable? In the last session, we discussed that. So the variables we are using actually to store some data. So here it is. So we discussed more about that variables concept. So variables we are using to store some data. The data can be any data type I told, like it can be integer, it can be float, it can be string, like that. And also we understood in the Groovy where the variables are actually dynamic data type. So dynamic means what? For example, you can define directly a equal to 100. This is possible here. You don't need to define the data type like shell script generally. But only thing, shell script, if you define a equal to 100, we use echo $a to display the value. But here, simple, instead of echo, we use a println. So println a. Now, I'm going to execute this. So how to execute? Open the command prompt and go to the specific path. So I'm in the same path now. And then Groovy session 3 underscore script dot Groovy. Now you can see the output here, the value 100. Okay, now I define this. The same way I'm defining one more variable, for example 2.5. I'm defining one more variable, for example Groovy. And also I'm defining single quote Groovy. So I define 4 variables. Okay, so this is actually the way of defining a variable in Groovy. It is very simple, variable name equal to value. So I'm just trying to print all the variables now at a time here. So then we will see that print B, and then we will see print C, and then we will see here print D. So these are the types, the variable names. But remember, see, whenever if you are using println, I told 2 ways. Either you can use, if you want like a parenthesis, there is no problem, you can use it. But without using parenthesis also, we can directly use println, because println is not a exactly function. We can say this is a just statement. So that is why without using parenthesis also, you can simply use that. So now see, I am using println. I want to print hello world. It works. But if you are using brackets also, it works. So many people generally use brackets. The reason that is generally best practice. Okay, so if you are using this, it understands. Okay, simply we can say this is a function. So the function always it should end with this parenthesis. But the general statements we no need to write. That is optional. But statements you can also use parenthesis. Without parenthesis also it works. But if it is a function, then the parenthesis mandate. But okay, I'm using now parenthesis. I said for statements also we can use that. Now you can see the output, it prints just like a hello world. Normal println how we are using the same. So that means like, see, many people generally use the programming background people, the Groovy script. So since they are already aware of this, where need to use these brackets and these all the things, we can use it. That means it clearly says that if you are using, no problem. Without using, there is also no problem. And also one more thing, semicolons. Most of the people will get confusion with semicolons. So Groovy says that, okay, if you're already good in programming, if you know where need to use semicolon, then okay, you can continue with the same style. But if you are new for this scripting language or any programming language, don't get any confusion. You don't need to use that. See now, if you're using, no problem. Without using also, no problem, it works. So this is how it actually behave. So means administrator styles language, any admin can easily understand and implement that. But programmers also, they can write their own style because it works that programming style also. Now this is one way. And the other thing, exactly whenever if you are defining Groovy variables, so yesterday we discussed this concept as well. So this is the recommended style. We should use DEF, but what is exactly DEF and what is the importance you will understand in the functions concept. But without using DEF also, we can create a variable. That is how we define now. And then now I'm creating some variables, $def x equal to, see one value I'm creating 10. And def y equal to, I'm defining some value 4.5. Def z equal to, I'm defining one value group. Okay. So 3 variables again I defined. I said that in Groovy, to define any variable, generally we use def. But I'm also saying that without def also we can define, there is no problem. But what is the advantage with the def, where exactly we use that? That you will understand in the functions style. In the functions, you'll understand the purpose of this. We will discuss clearly. But now I'm trying to write here println x, println y, and then println z. Now again, I'm trying to execute this and see the output. Now we can see output is printed. Okay. So now I'm trying to write here println. So this is something like a string, and then I want to print this string 20 times. So hash I want to print 20 times just to separate this output. You can see again it prints like this. So that means, see what exactly I did now. I want to print the first output first, and then later whatever the variables I define, those output, these statements output, I want to print after this hash. See, you can also write directly like this, okay? But instead of writing this many hashes, just what is the purpose this? Because I just want to separate, just view purpose. So we can see simply like, okay, this is the above output and this is the below one. So like that, I'm just writing some hash. You can write like this, or else simply, since we have a star which we are using for string repetition, I'm repeating this hash for 20 times. So I just defined that. Okay. Now, one other important thing here, see, for example, I'm going to write one more variable e equal to true, and then println e, and also here I'm writing def. I'll write here, so def, and then I'm writing k equal to false. So remember, I'm not defining any codes. So this is one important thing here. If you are not defining any codes for this false, it will take like a boolean value. But if you define something, for example, f equal to, I'm just writing false, but between a quotes. If you define between a quotes, this is a string. If you're not writing any quotes, this is a boolean value. So boolean values, true and false concept. Okay, now how I know that? For example, okay, I'm trying to print this first, and also here I'm going to define one more, I equal to, in the quotes I'm writing true. Okay, let me first print this one, println k, println I. So we need to understand this point here. The e variable I define, f also define. E without quotes I am writing, f with quotes I am writing. So I said that e without quotes true I define, that is a boolean value. But f I define between a quotes, either single quote or double quotes. If you define anything between a single or double, so that is why C and D here I define two different strings. So this is called string here. So that means even boolean values, if you are writing between a quotes, always it's a string. In case, for example, now see, I define a equal to 100. But if you write a equal to 100 between a quote, that will be a string again. 2.5 between a quotes, that will be a string again. So without quotes, if you are writing normal numeric value, number, that will be integer. Without quote, if you are writing just 2.5, something like that, it will be a float. And without quote, if you are defining true or false, that will be boolean values. But with quotes, no matter what we are defining, anything, it will treat like a string. But okay, I want to see that what is the type of that variable. Yesterday we discussed. So tell me, what is the function? Yesterday we discussed one thing, how to check this variable type. Any idea? So if we check here, There is a syntax. So I told that get class we are using to get the variable type. So this is important, and we should remember get class, right? Many times we use. So now I'm going to use that get class here. So if you understand this get class, now we will actually understand how the variables actually behaving, means the data types, how it is actually taking. See, now I'm using that. I'm simply using, see, what is the function I said? It's a just variable name dot get class. C is capital. So we need to understand again one more thing. Groovy is a case sensitive language like shell scripting. So we should remember the exact name. So get class with the case we need to remember. So this is a capital C. So now see here I am using just a dot get class, and then I'm going to define the same way b dot get class and c dot get class, d dot get class. Also I am checking these two lines E and F. Now dot get class. So this is not there actually in shell scripting, like to get the specific variable type. We don't have any specific function for that, but here you can see that. See now. Okay, now you can understand this simply. Now if you observe here all the outputs, so first I printed all the outputs, and if you observe first what I did, I defined a variable, and the a variable is actually, you can see it's a integer. And also whenever if you are executing this Groovy code, I told that there are some packages by default it will import. So that is actually java.lang, java.math, like that. There are different packages. Again, I'll give you that list. Yesterday also we discussed that. Now you can see, so from where it is checking this, it is checking from java.lang, and it actually printing like an integer. So that means 100 is an integer. And I can see the second one, it's a big decimal, it is printing like that. So which is a decimal value, float value. And then you can see this is a string, and the string again, so means C and D both are actually strings. And then you can check actually E value. So E value, now I just define what without quotes. So without quotes, because that is the reason it's a boolean. But if you observe F is actually false. It looks like a boolean, but I defined between a quotes. So that is the reason that is a string. So that is a string here. Okay. So I hope this one clear now. And then later, what I did, I printed these variables here. And then also now see, for example, I want to get these types. If you want, you can also see these types. Even if you are defining a get type, get class. For this def, if you are using def also, we will get the same style, all the data types. Okay, now we will also see this now. Okay, so I'm writing here dot get class and dot get class. Okay, so now there is no difference actually. That is what I'm trying to explain here. Now I can see the type here. It will print what is the type of these variables now. Now I can see the first one is an integer, second one is a decimal value, third one string, fourth one false, which is a boolean value, and the last one is a string. So here k is a boolean value, but I is a string. Okay, so these two basically we define based on the Groovy style. And then see, now even see, this is a multi-line comment. I'm commenting all the lines now. So to comment all the lines at a time, that means if you want to comment more than one line, so I have explained that in the last session, the comment session, you can see there is a single line comment and we have a multi-line comments. So the single line comments, we are using just what? 2 forward slashes. For the multi-line comment, so this is the one. So comments, single line comment we discussed, we are using 2 forward slashes. And multi-line comment, we are using actually what? 1 forward slash, then star. And then remaining all the comments, whatever you write it. And then at the end, we have to use star and then slash. Okay. Now, I hope this one clear. Any questions here to define like the variables? But Groovy style I told now. The same way we will see also like how programming style we are using. So yesterday we got some error, right? So we will see that as well now. So anyone got that what the solution is? Shaul Ahmad, did you check it? Banu?
No, Babu.
Okay. Fine, no problem. See, the thing is actually, I said internally, everything is a one class in Groovy. That means integer is a one class, float is a one class, string is a one class, boolean is one class. Now, if you observe these outputs, okay, let me first execute this. So internally, everything is a one class. Whenever if you are defining a variable, it will go and create an object under that specific class. But if you observe what is the class name, it's a boolean, it's a string, it is printing like this. This is the class name exactly, integer. So while defining the variable with the data type, we should follow the same style. But for int, you can also use just int, also you can write integer. But for string, it's not str, it should write capital S, see this case sensitive, capital S, then string. For boolean, you should write boolean. So like that, we have to define the variable. Now, so if you observe yesterday somewhere, actually we defined that. Okay, let me take that here. Okay, so this is the one now. Yeah, this is the one int, here it is. So what we actually did, we defined just a bool. Okay, and we see every language having their own style. So this may work in some specific languages, but that language is actually, see, for example, if bool is working, that bool will be a class name. string, lowercase. If it is that specific thing is a class name internally, then it works. But what we understood here, internally the class names you can see the capital S, capital B, like that we have. And we should define the same style. See, that is why whenever if you define this, it is giving error message, right? So now see, I'm trying to print. See, this is basically what the below are dynamic data types. So whenever if you are defining a variable dynamically, the data type it is actually assigning to the variable based on the value and it is printing it. But now I'm defining a static type. Static type means fixed one. So the fixed one is what I'm defining. I want to take this variable as a only integer. I want to take this variable as a only bool. I want to take this variable as a only string. You got my point? So if you are doing like that, then basically what? We should know exact data type as well. Okay, now I'm just writing println x, and then I'm just writing println is today something holiday, and then see we will get the error. The reason we understood already. So remember these names, capital boolean, we should write like this, capital string, but I'm trying to execute directly now. Now I can see it is giving some error message because this is not a way to define this variable type. So I'm going to take the exact name now, string, capital S. And then what? Boolean. The class name is Boolean. So this is the name we should take directly. Okay, so now I'm just taking that. Okay, so I just define the same style, the class based on the class name, and then I'm trying to print now. Now you check it, it should work. Now you can see here, it is working these variables. So and also you see now, I'm just trying to print this message here now, the other variable, and then you can see the value it prints now. Okay, this is the way. So basically, we should know exactly what is the class type. Okay, to understand what are the different names internally, under numbers we have a basically int value, and then we have a float, but in the float also we have short, long, like that. See, one important thing, we almost use the variables directly in the Groovy, but we should also understand these data types. That is why I'm explaining this, but it is not required to define the variable like this in Groovy. We can directly define just a df variable name, then value, or you can also define directly without using df. That's what we understood. But some cases, in case whenever if you are calling something Java code based on the Groovy interpreter, so we should also know that data types. That is what actually we are discussing here. But to understand that more, so this is the one actually you can see here. I just mentioned some notes here. So because I tested today, since yesterday we got that error. Now I can see these all are the data types we have. So which is byte is one class, short is one class, int, long, float, double, char, boolean, string. But now there are, for anything there is a one advantage and there will be a one disadvantage as well. So the advantage, if you are defining a data type, that particular variable, it will only take that specific data type. For example, if I am defining int, okay, now see, I used int x equal to 100. That means for this x, only integer value is possible. No matter what value you are providing here, it accepts only integer value. So now, for example, if I write int something a equal to Groovy, it won't accept that. The reason is actually what I defined static data type already. I'm clearly mentioning that accept this value only int type. So here it is saying class should be integer, means you cannot write any other values there. So this is if you are writing explicitly the data type, and then we should aware of that what is the value, what value we have to write for the variable. Strictly, so this is strictly, okay, we are defining strictly take as a integer, that's it. But if you are not using this data type, what is the advantage? Any value you can define, but at the time of execution it will check what value it is, and based on that it will assign to that specific class. Now it will go and assign in the string class as an object. So that is the difference now. So the advantage, if you are using data type, it is strictly we are mentioning that okay, this variable should accept only like an integer, or should accept only like some specific data type. And then now disadvantage is whenever if you are using some data types, there will be some limit. Now for example, if you check the limit here, so okay, now for example, okay, I'll show you that limit as well here. The byte values we write only minus 128 to 127. The short value will be minus 32,768 to 32,767. That means the length. Okay, so for example, if you are defining some int I equal to this value, it will work. But greater than this number, if you are writing, it won't accept. That's what I'm saying. You got my point, right? See, you can check this later also. If you're simply writing, for example, int I equal to, and this particular length, till here it accepts. Okay, so what this data type is saying, if you are using integer value, there is a limit only till this number it accepts. But if you write some other numbers, not accept, the reason the limit is for integer only this much. But if you are not using any data type, if you are simply defining a variable, then okay, no problem, it will accept that. So basically, Groovy style is the variable length, the value length is infinite. You can define n number of values and the length will be infinite. But if you are specifying the data type, then it will be only specific. So that thing we should know. Okay, so it depends on what exactly we are writing. If you are writing some combination Java style, and basically data type is must, like we should write like this, int something like float, like that, boolean, string, these are the things. If you are writing directly Groovy style, then you don't need to define any data. But both we understood here. Now if you want to see this type of this, we can check that. So how to check? We use a get class. Now see, I'm using get class here. And then I want to print this get class here as well. And then I want to print get class. Now we can try to execute and see the output. Now I can see it's integer and boolean and string it is printing. So this is how with the data type we define. Okay, now coming to this variable, I said if you define one variable a equal to 100, this is a dynamic data type. At the time of variable execution, that means at the time of the script execution, internally it will verify what type of value. Groovy interpreter it will verify, and it will decide that okay, this is a numeric number, integer value, and then it assign one object under int class. But now this value is fixed, the value is static, 100. So whenever if you are printing a value, it will be 100 only. That value is static, data type is dynamic. See, the data type is dynamic, value is static. But now I want to take the value dynamically. That means what? I don't want to take 100. I want to ask from the user input at the time of execution, enter a number. Like in shell script, we use a read statement. So we use read, then variable name to take input from the keyboard. In C language, we use scanf to take input from the keyboard. So the same way here, how exactly we are going to take. You got my point, right? So the purpose now, I want to take input from the keyboard. Okay, instead of defining a static value to the variable, dynamically I want to take the value to the variable. So for that, we have a one function called system.console.readline. See, basically it's a read line only, but most of the syntaxes you feel like Java code. So that is how this language is designed. But Python and all, if you check, it's totally different. So it's very simple, Python and all. But this Groovy, many times we feel like Java. The reason it is utilizing internally all the Java packages only. So I told even that yesterday session also. So we can say simply it's a just replacement for Java for scripting style. Okay. So now, what is the function I said? The function here, the function whenever if you want to take input from the keyboard, right? So if you want to take input from the keyboard, basically you can simply use readline. But since we are using combination of Java concepts, so we should also include that system.console.readline. And remember, Groovy is a case sensitive, so we should know exactly the name, how exactly we are writing it, the syntax. So capital S, then system dot lowercase console Okay. So system.console and then read line, capital L here. So this is the syntax. This is the keyword which we are using to take input from the keyboard. Okay. So we can say simply it is used to take input from the user. Now, also one more thing we need to understand now, that you will understand here itself in the scripting. Okay, now you tell me, if I write for example b equal to 20, println a plus b, what will be the output? What will be the output here? It's a 120. But in case this is, again, see, there is a link between this example and system.console.readline. So I try to concentrate this one now. I'm just writing x equal to 100. Okay, let me take single quote, and then y equal to 20. So what I did, x value 100, y value 20, and then I'm trying to print this x plus y. If I print x plus y now, this will take 100 plus 20, but it will actually print 10020, which is a concatenation. See this? The first one is 120, that is a mathematical operator, addition. Plus we are using for addition. If both are numerical numbers, then it will print like this 120, which is actually what addition here. If both are string values, then that is a concatenation, combining two strings. For example, I have a Groovy and then I have a script. I want to combine these two. Groovy script, we use a plus. So I said that Groovy shell you can use simply. So Groovy shell means what? Groovy sh, if you type, immediately it will go to the Groovy shell. And then I'm just typing Groovy and then plus shell here. So I also told that, okay, this is just to understand one-time execution. Now I can see here, Groovy plus shell, it is giving Groovy shell. It is a concatenation. 10 plus 20, this is addition. It's not 1020 now, but if I'm writing 10 and then again 20, now it's a 1020. There is a difference. So this is a string now, but the first one is a numeric addition. That means addition means any numeric values you can write it. But in case one numeric value and then one string value, then again see, one numeric and one string will get a 1020 here. So because it is always priority based on the string. Okay, now I'm just writing Groovy then first and then plus 10. Now I can see Groovy 10, it is. So string priority is high. Okay, now coming back here, I'm going to take input from the keyboard and you observe that what will be the output and how exactly it prints that output. Okay, let me first write name equal to, so we define variable and then what, system dot console dot read line, I said capital L. So this is the statement, system dot console dot read line, and then here I'm writing enter your name. Then I want to print this name. Okay, println name, here I'm writing. So this is very simple one. I'm taking input from the keyboard now. So enter. Now you can see the current cursor is waiting. So cursor is waiting to take input from the keyboard now. Enter your name. Okay, I'm giving something Groovy here and then it will print exactly the output Groovy. But now I want to print the output hi name welcome. and println, I'm writing single quote, hi name, welcome. So this concept also we discussed, interpolation concept. In shell script also we have interpolation, variable substitution between a double quotes. See, simple interpolation means if we get a variable substitution between a double quotes, we call it as a interpolation is there. Now here I'm trying to get the variable value between a double quotes, but if you observe, it will print as it is like a name. I'm just writing Groovy. Now I can see hi name welcome, hi name welcome. But what I expected, I want to print hi Groovy welcome, right? But don't think with this itself like there is no interpolation in Groovy. There is an interpolation. The only thing, whenever if you want to take the variable value between a double quotes, then you should use dollar. Okay, let me write first dollar name here. We will try to see that whether it works or not. Now I'm just defining something Unix, but see, it is not working. No such property dollar name. Remember that if we are using directly without quotes dollar name, there is no meaning for that. So this is important. Okay, there is no meaning for this now. If you are simply using dollar name, there is no meaning. Remember shell script, we can define something like a equal to 10 equal $a. It will print the variable value, but here no meaning for this. But when it will be valid, if you write in case between a double quotes, remember only in a double quotes, then this will be a valid one. So now for example, see, I'm just writing hi dollar name welcome. If you write between a double quotes, then it will actually provide you the variable value. Now it is not giving dollar name or it is not giving just name. It will provide you the variable value now. So variable value means what? Whatever you are taking input from the keyboard. Now for example, I'm just typing Unix. Now I can see hi Unix welcome. So since we can actually substitute the variable between a double quotes, but with the dollar symbol, dollar then variable name. So we can say interpolation is possible in Groovy. But we should know that dollar without quotes, if you are writing, there is no meaning. Okay, now question is, can we write between a single quote dollar symbol? Of course we can write, there is no problem, but it is not a variable now again. Then what it is, it will just print as it is. So the reason, this is the differences between generally double quotes and single quotes concept. Double quotes, the variable substitution is possible if you are using dollar name inside the double quotes. But single quotes, whatever you write between a single quote, that's it, that is a string. Whatever we write between a single quote, always that will be string. So I define between a single quote dollar name, so it is simply treating like a string here. But double quotes between, it is a variable. So here you can see hi Unix welcome, hi dollar name welcome. So any questions in this now? Is that clear? System.console readline? No questions, right? Okay. So now let's see, for example, okay, you have to tell this output now, since no one is saying no questions. So silent means generally no question. So now what I'm trying to do, I'm just writing num1 equal to system dot, okay, console dot readline, and then I'm going to write enter number. Okay, enter num1. And the same way I'm taking num2 equal to system dot console dot readline, enter a num2. Okay, enter a num2. So now the thing is, I'm just trying to add these values num1 plus num2. Okay, now try to understand this. What I'm doing, I'm just taking input from the keyboard and assigning to the num1 variable. And then again, I'm taking input from the keyboard and I'm assigning to the num2 variable. And then I'm adding that two numbers. So I'm giving here the value for this 10 and I'm giving here value 20. Now what will be the output? What will be the output now?
It should be 30.
Yeah, it should print 30, right? It should print 30, but if you observe, it is printing now 1020. What is the reason? Okay, so can you guess where we got this type of output actually?
When we give something in quotes, it's treating as a string rather than
Yeah,
integer.
right. That is correct. So we already discussed this concept. Whenever if you are giving something inside the code, and then it is taking like a string and it is concatenating that. So this is the one I said that whenever if you are taking input from the keyboard, okay. So this is actually still pending. We only understood it is used to take input from the user or keyboard, okay. But whenever if you are taking input, every input, okay, it will take like a string, remember, like a string I said. That means it is taking the value internally between a single quote. Internally, whatever input you are giving, for example, I provided 10. Immediately the data it is taking internally between a single quote and assigning to the number. And I provided 20. Internally it is assigning between a single quote and assigning to the num2. So num1 value is single quote 10, num2 value is single quote 10. That is why 1020. But then how? I want to add these two values. I don't want to concatenate. I don't want to take as a string. I want to add these two values as a integer. Means I want to convert as an integer now. So this is called typecasting. So whenever if you are taking input from the keyboard, remember always every input it will take like a string, because the reason is what? Internally every input will enclose with single quotes. That is why it always treat like a string. Now we need to know the typecasting. So typecasting is nothing but converting the data type. So I want to convert, for example, into whatever type, string or string to int or string to float, string to whatever the type. But now here I just want to convert the string value to the integer value. But is it really string? How we know that? We can verify that num1 dot what is the function? Get
Get
class.
class.
Yeah, so we can use get class to verify. Now see, I'm using num2 dot get class. I'm using to verify. Okay, now we can see the type of this variable, whether it is an integer value or what type of variable. Basically we can see. Now I'm giving 10 and 20. Now I can see this is a string type. So because of that string, it is giving a concatenation. So what I'm trying to do now, I want to convert this string as an integer. So I want to converting data type. So we use the keyword as. Okay, this is the one. Okay, so it is used to convert one data type to another data type. So whatever the type you want, you can convert it another data type. So this is actually required now because I want to take the value as an integer. So what I will do now, after taking this variable num1 equal to, I want to take num1 value as int, and then after this num2 equal to, I want to take this num2 as int. So now I converted as integer, and then if you rerun this script again with the same values, I'm giving 10 and 20. Now you can see 30 it is providing, and you see the output, the type here, it is integer type now, because we converted that string to int now. So whenever if we are taking input from the keyboard, if you want to take the values as a integer value, then this data type is must. So only at the time of taking input read line. The remaining all, anyway we are defining directly variable name equal to value. Based on the value it will take the type. But read line, every time it is taking everything as a string internally. I hope this one clear now, right? So remember this read line we are going to use every session almost. So you should know what exactly the read line and how exactly the function behavior is. These are the things, because every time we take input from the keyboard, for example, while writing the conditional statements, while writing the loops concept, and while reading the data from file, every time we use this read line concept. So we should know what exactly the read line and how it behaves. So any questions here now, anyone?
The other way, by using def we can do, is it? As how we
That
have
will be
declared as an
static.
int.
Correct. That will be static, right? That will be static.
Okay.
See, def if you are using, here also you can use def. But if you are using def also, since we are using read line, the priority for read line, the data it will read from the user and it will take only as a string. Now the variables you can define whatever the way if you want. You can define like basically what df you can use it, and then df num1, df num2 also you can use it. But only thing here we have to understand read line concept. Read line basically it will take entire thing as a string, so that is why we are converting this one.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we discussed, what we understood, the variables we understood, the different ways how we are defining it. But again, remember we still in basic type of variables only. There are some collection type of variables also. We have arrays concept and we have a map concept. We still not started that. We are just covering the basic level variables, how we are defining it, and how to get the data type of the variable, and how to convert the data type of the variable, and how to take input from the keyboard, and how to assign the value to the variable, and how to get the variable substitution between a double quotes. These are all the things we discussed. Okay, so then now see, sometimes for example, so many people ask this actually, okay, can we define date to the variable? Yes, of course we can define, but for that actually there is a one util package. So we should use that util package. So I'll also show you that. So most of the things I said already, Java style. Okay, since it is using all Java packages by default. So you can write, for example, see now k equal to, I'm defining, we should define like this new, and then that package java dot. So we use a util. So this is a package, and then you can run the date command. So date is a command. So what is this util package? Basically, it contains this, the date related things. So we should use like this java.util.date, and then you can print ln and you can print this k. You can check it should actually print date. So it means system date it should print. So this you can see the system date it is printing, and also the standard time IST, right? Indian Standard Time it is printing like that based on what zone it is. So the reason there is some chances like based on the time zone, So it will actually, there will be like, daylight saving and all. So basically it will print that one also in general. So this is util, but from where we are checking java.util, then .date we are using this. Okay, now what will be the type for this now? So for example, if you check println k dot get class, you can see here. So the type of this date, right? It's a java.util.date. So this itself is a one class. Date itself is a one separate class, java.util.date. So while defining the date, the command, whenever if you want to write, always we should go like this here. So fine now. So I hope this one clear now. So we will see now operators concept. So there are list of operators actually in the Groovy. So we'll see one by one now on the list of operators. Okay. So operators in Groovy. So operators in Groovy. And remember, these operators are important to write conditional statements and loops. But these operators are same in every language. There is no difference. Everywhere it is the same thing. While working with shell scripting or Python or C language or Java, wherever you go, these operators are same. Okay, now arithmetic operators. So first let me write list of names, arithmetic operators. And then we have a relational operators. And then we have logical operators. And then we have assignment operator. This is assignment. Okay, assignment operator. And then we have a shorthand assignment operators also. Shorthand assignment. Or we call it as a unary operators basically. And then we have a string concatenation. We already discussed, but I'm just writing here. And then we do have a string repetition operator. So string repetition. And then we have a increment and decrement operators. See, some operators are not there in shell scripting. Some operators, depending on, see, arithmetic, these all are common, but basically like repetition operator and then increment decrement operators. So we don't have increment decrement operator in shell. So we use always shorthand assignment operator only in shell scripting. So we'll see that what exactly these operators know. So as I said, these operators are required to understand while writing conditional statements and loops concept. Okay, coming to the arithmetic operators. So arithmetic operators, see, this is not defined by Groovy. It's a mathematical operators already defined by someone, mathematical people, and every language using the same thing. And the execution also, the style generally what it should follow the BODMAS concept. Okay, so now plus, minus, star, division, and then we have a mode operator, and also we have an exponent operator. This is called exponent. So you can try this. So we just discussed like that. See, you have to define two ways. First, to define some variable static values, and then you try to perform all arithmetic. That is your task later. And the same way, you take input from the keyboard and perform all arithmetic operators. Now, for example, see, I'm going to take input from the keyboard now. So whenever if I take input from the keyboard, we know every time it is taking the values as a just it will take like a string. So that is why I'm converting like a here actually what integer, and again here also I'm converting as an integer. Now I want to print. Okay, I'm going to use println, but okay, let me write here. So println num1 plus num2. Now again here one more question. Now there is no problem for this, it will print. Okay, 10 is printing, 20 is printing, 30. But the question here, I want to print sum of num1 and num2 is 30. I want to print like that. So can you guess how to write that? What is my expectation now? Instead of just printing 30, I want to print sum of num1 and num2 is 30. How to
Okay,
write?
under print line, we will give like sum of
Hmm.
num1 and num2 within the quotes,
Hmm.
and then $num1 and num2 to get the value.
Okay, so in the double quotes we understood dollar variable substitution, right?
Yeah.
So in shell script also, okay, if I write something dollar num1 plus dollar num2, what will be the output in shell script? In shell, it will print just 10
the
plus 20.
correct.
It won't print actually output 30, or it won't print 1020 as well. It will print just like 10 plus 20, something like that it prints. Okay, now here we will see how it will print. So I'm just trying to write. Okay, I'm writing here the sum of num1 and num2 is dollar num1 plus dollar num2 as well. So now I'm trying to execute this. Yeah. So I'm giving 10 and I'm giving 20. I see this 10 plus 20. The
The code
exactly
should
shell
end
script
at
also it behaves the same thing. Shell script also, if you write between a double quotes, I said that only the variable substitution is possible, but not operators. So operators not possible. Okay. So I'm just okay. I just muted Shaul Ahmed because getting nice. Okay, if you have question or any discussion, you can unmute later. So now see the sum of num1 and num2 is 10 plus 20. It is printing. It is not giving 30 actually. Okay, now forget the shell script. The shell script actually the different way we write it. We use EXPR concept and we use BC concept, binary calculator. Then we perform that. But here, how we can actually now write that? So since I'm writing between a double quotes, I'm getting just 10 plus 20 here. So now, okay, is there any way can we write, for example, see, I'm just writing now again the same thing, but I'm closing these quotes here. And then is there any way like, can we write something here like this? Okay, I'm just giving idea. Okay. Now see, I just closed these quotes now and then started comma separator. Then I'm adding that num1 plus num2. So we will see whether it is working or not. Now see, it is not working. If you are directly writing, okay, it is giving it. But if you are defining something like this, it is not working. So then what is the best method in general? So the best method is we should actually define to the variable, some variable, and then you print that variable. For example, here I'm writing sum equal to num1 plus num2, and then you can use that dollar sum here. Dollar sum. Okay, now if I write something $sum, I'm giving 10 and 20. Now I can see the sum of num1 and num2 is 30. Or else see the sum of num1, and also I want to print the variable value num1 and num2, and also I want to print the variable value $num2 is $sum. So what actually it is giving now, one more step we added, that means num1 then value also it is printing. So 10 and 20, now I can see the sum of num1 10 and num2 20 is 30, something like that. So this is one way. So what is your task now? Two tasks pending. So one is you define directly one value, like a variable names, two variables. For example, a equal to 10 to b equal to 20, something like that, and perform all arithmetic operators, plus, minus, star, everything. And then later take an input from the keyboard, like using with the read line, and then perform again all arithmetic operators, so that you will understand how exactly these operators are working. So for example, see, I'll also write one more operator. For example, I'm just using num1. Okay, num1 star 2. What is this actually? Or star 3. For example, if I take the value 2, num1 is 2, num2 is 3, you can see 2 cube. You got my point, right? See, I'm using 2, I'm using 10. So this is a num1 value is 2, star 3 means 2 to the power of 3. That is the meaning for that. 2 to the power of 3 means output is how much? Output is 8. You can take whatever the value. For example, I want to see 3 cube. That means 3 to the power of 3. You can simply use star. We don't need to write loop for that. We have an operator. So 3 into 3 into 3. So what will be the output? So 3 3s are 9, 9 3s are 27. You can see that 27. Like that actually this operator star it works. Okay, now for example, you tell me this a equal to 4, b equal to 5, c equal to 3. I'm using println a plus b star c. What will be the output now? I'm using a plus b star c. Multiplication operator will be first priority. So 5 into 3, 15 plus 4, it will print 19 here. So that means multiplication operator first priority. So actually what here, that is what I said. Okay, this is a single line comment. BODMAS rule it follows. So this is defined by mathematical people. So any language, if you are using, no matter whatever the language it is, it follows the same thing, BODMAS. BODMAS means what? Brackets first, orders like a power value, square value, something like that. And then D means division, M means multiplication, A means addition, and S means subtraction. So now based on this, in case if I use something like brackets first, what happens? I'm using brackets like this. Okay, generally brackets first means it should actually what first perform that between the brackets. Okay, now I can see the value here. It is giving some error, null point exception. Cannot invoke multiple method on null object. So we need to verify what exactly it is now. So there will be some required for this. Okay, cannot invoke method multiply on null object. But see, it is actually only taking 4 plus 5 between a brackets. And then I said that based on this, actually what the multiplication should take. So after this 9, then star 3, it should print like that actually. We'll see it. Just try. Okay. Now I can see this output. So means it is saying that whenever if you are performing with some brackets, then it is saying like complete brackets also required for entire expression. So I provided that for entire expression bracket now, and then it actually fulfill for that. And then it is giving now output 4 plus 5. 4 plus 5 is 9, and then star C, which is actually 27. So now here actually what brackets first, then it is following later thing based on this order. So this is the way actually you need to verify all operators, arithmetic operators. So two ways, either define directly static variable values and then take dynamically also and check it. Okay. Now coming to the relational operators. Okay. So do you have any idea what are the relational operators we have in general? Relational operators. Yeah. So relational operators generally we have a less than symbol, greater than symbol, equal to symbol, right? Those all are actually comes under relational, which is generally we can say comparison operators. Comparison operator like less than symbol, greater than symbol, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and then not equal to. These all are. So these all are basically what? Relational operators. Okay, so what exactly it is doing? So it will provide you Boolean value, whether it is a true or false. It will provide whether it is true or false. Now, for example, okay, let me take here. I'm just commenting all the lines again, and then I'm writing here 3 variables, the same 3 variables I'm taking, and println a less than b, and println a greater than b, and println a equal to b, and println a not equal to b. I'm checking this all the operators. I'm just checking what a less than b, a greater than b, a equal to b, and a not equal to b. And now if we check here, it is giving Boolean value 4 less than 5, true. First one is true. 4 greater than 5, false. 4 equal to 5, false. 4 not equal to 5, true. You got my point? So this is actually just giving Boolean values. If the value is true, then it will give you true. If it is false, then it will give you false. So where exactly we use this? While writing a conditional statement. For example, if a value greater than 10, for example, I want to go inside the condition. But it will verify internally true or false, Boolean value. If it is a true, then it will go inside. If it is a false, it will go to the else part, something like that. But how to verify that whether it is a true or false using with relational operators? The same way, there is a possible, even if you want to verify strings, I'm just defining k equal to abcd, and then j equal to bc, and then I'm using println k less than j. So what I did, I provided just k less than j, and if you check the output here, it is giving true. But you tell me what exactly you are actually thinking, and what based it verified this now, and what based it is providing like a true. Okay, just think. I'll be back in 1 minute. Yeah, I'm back. Okay, so you got this, and what base is actually it provided as a tool? Any idea? The last one I'm talking about. The first thing, this is not based on the length. Okay.
Is it written on the basis of position?
Position means what exactly?
As A stands for first position, B, is it something like that comparative?
Okay. So in
But in
that
that
case,
case
now for
as well, it
example,
should
if
be
I
true.
write, okay, if I write something A, B, C, D, and then if I write something A, B, C, E, now which one will be the greater value? Which one is greater now in these two strings?
Is it A, B, C, E?
A, B, C, E,
Yeah.
and how, what basis it is?
It's just a wild guess. As E comes next to D, as the position of E is higher than D.
Yeah, that is
I might
actually
be
correct.
wrong.
So basically, see, we know how to check the words in the dictionary. Now, for example, if we take this two words in the dictionary, this will be a first, right? But on what base it is? It will be first based on this alphabet. If you check A, B, C, D, A, B, C, first it compared A. If it is same, it will go to the next character. If it is same, it will go to the next character. Then finally D and E, so it decided D is less comparing with E. So in the dictionary, ABCD word will be first and it comes later ABC. So the same way here also, it will just check based on that character style. But technically, what it is doing internally means it is based on the ASCII code character. Okay. Now, for example, okay, I'll show you. This is in Python actually. We have a one function called ORD. If you want to see the ASCII number of A, we can check. I have a Python already. So I'm just going, I went to Python interpreter and then I'm executing ORD of A. It's 97 and ORD of B is 98. So this is the ASCII number of A, ASCII number of B. So the first character itself here, it decided that 97 and 98, 97 is lower comparing with 98. So that means 98 is a higher value. So this will be true. Okay, it is checking based on the ASCII code internally. But see how it is checking, it is not checking all the characters. It just checks each character. If the character is same, then it will go to the next character. Then it will go to the next character. If all are same, then less than again it will be false only. Because all are same means what? For example, in case if I have something x equal to ABCD. Here also if you are using println something x, okay, k less than x, it is also false only, right? So this one will be false now. The first one is true, but this one is false. I can see here output, it just prints false. But when it will be true now, in case if I am using k equal to x, it will be true. Okay, now I can check it's a true. But see the advantage here, Groovy, we are not using any different operators. We are using the same operator. That is advantage. That means for numeric comparison, for string comparison, both we are using same operators. But in any other languages, there are two different operators. For example, let's say shell script, or let's say any language like Perl script. These operators we use for numeric, And then we use something like a GE greater than or equal to, GT greater than, LE less than or equal to, LT less than. These are operators we use for strings. But here Groovy, for both we are using same operators. That is the advantage. So you can compare either numeric values or you can compare even string values. That is possible here with the same operators. Now, coming to the logical operators. So logical operators we use actually and, or, not. What we use? And, or, not. As I said, see this all the operators again we are going to write in the conditions. But now see, for example, we need to verify whether it is and means how exactly it works. So for example, so that's what I said. You can go to the interpreter, how to go Groovy shell, interactive mode. We'll verify whether it works or not. So 10 less than 20, it is giving true. Okay, I'm writing something 10 less than 20 and I'm writing something 10 greater than 20. No output is giving. That means, yeah, I'm just giving hint like maybe this operator A and D is not there. Then how? I'm checking and operator this way and then greater than 20. Still not there, then how? Okay, now I'm just checking 10 greater than 20. No output. See this? Whenever if it is a true, output we got. So whenever if it is a false, output is not printing. So false means basically no output here. That is what we need to understand. So again now we can check it. Now for example 10 less than 20 and 10 less than 20. So both I am giving true now. But and operator. Still it is not working. So 10 less than 20 and operator 10 less than 20. So we need to know exactly the operator how exactly we are using, but still no output. So this one need to find out now, right? Because the reason why I'm asking, even if you know the operator in Groovy, we should know how to use that. So this part you will understand in the conditional statement exactly whether really brackets required for everything or not required and how exactly we write these conditions and all. So this is the main important thing even if you know any other languages knowledge. Okay, so we'll discuss this more clear, no problem. But see, first we will try to understand what are the logical operators we have. The logical operators, so we have a and we have a or and we have a not, but we use generally symbols here and then this is for or and this is for not. Okay, now logical operators where we use, for example, any two conditions. I have one condition, again one more condition I want to write. Then we use a combination with these logical operators. For example, let's say, okay, so we have a logical truth table, right? So logical truth table we are using generally for what, to understand more about these logical operators. For example, I'm writing like this. True means I'm just taking T and the false I'm just taking just F. And then assume like if we have a P and then Q and then P and Q and then P or Q and then okay, let me write symbol itself and then not P. So not P is nothing but what? Negation of that, and that means opposite of P value. So here concept is if P value and Q value, P value and Q value, if both are true, and will be true. If both are true, and will be true. Even one false, and will be false. Even one false, and will be false. But coming to the OR operator, if both are false, that means P value and Q value. If both are false, then OR will be false. But even one true, OR will be true. So exactly opposite. So AND operator is what? Both are true, then only true. Even one false, this will be false. But OR operator is actually what? If both are false, then only false, but even one true, it will be true. So I just told that I'm just taking T, or else, okay, let me take capital T just for understanding. And then capital F I'm taking. So I need to know this capital T means it's a true. And then capital T, true. So if both are true, this will be true. And will be true only. Negation means false. So exactly opposite. Not is exactly opposite. And then now true, and then I am writing here false. AND operator, it will be false now. OR operator, it will be true. And the NOT operator, it will be false. So the first one is false, I am writing, and then true, I am writing. And then this will be false, and this will be true, and this will be true. In case both are false, AND will be false, OR will be false, NOT will be true. Exactly opposite. But remember this table, we will see how to write exactly in the conditional statements. There you will understand exactly the total concept. Okay, just remember exactly the table, so how it works, then later we will see this. But now coming to the assignment operator. So assignment operator we already know. So in starting we are discussing that assigning a value to the variable. So here it is now, assignment operator. These remaining operators are simple only. Okay, symbol, just equal to symbol. So means whenever if you want to define a value to the variable, we use like this, a equal to 10. So the value 10 I want to define to the variable. So how we are defining? Using with assignment operator. So almost many examples we discussed already with assignment operator. Coming to the shorthand assignment or unary operators. This one is important, but in Groovy we use mostly increment and decrement. Some languages, especially shell scripting, Python, we don't have increment decrement operators. We don't have like I plus 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 I. That concept we don't have in Python as well as in shell. So there actually we use always shorthand assignment operators only. But here, since we have these increment operators, we never use this shorthand. Okay, that means there is a reason, like see, if you want you can use it, there is no problem. But generally, since we already have this, we go with always increment and decrement. But what is this operators and what is the use of this? Mostly we use in the loops concept. For example, while loop. I want to increment 100 times. Okay, so three ways we can write generally. One is, okay, let's first see how to increment 1. So for example, I have a variable I equal to 1. And then we know that already this concept I equal to I plus 1, then println I. Println, then I am writing I. So here output will be 2. Perfectly fine. It is very simple one. I define variable I and then I am incrementing I equal to I plus 1. Output will be 2. But the point is here is, if you are writing the same concept in the loop, for example, let's say while loop. In the while loop, I want to print 1 to 100 or I want to print 1 to 1000. Sometimes infinite loop also will be there. Infinite loop, but based on some specific value matches, I want to terminate. We use a break statement. But now assume keep on taking input, but some specific value matches, then only it is coming out. But assume like it is taking maybe 150 times input, but still that expected value not matched. So every time it is actually what incrementing internal, one value, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. If you are using this concept, what happens now? Just to try to understand, this is not required generally, but internally what it will do. So I define I equal to 1. I said that at the time of execution, the Groovy interpreter, it will verify what type of value. It is an integer value, then immediately it will go and create an object under int class. So now one object is created. So here one object created for the value 1. But where this object created, it created in the secondary storage device. That means simply we can say in the hard disk it created. Now, then later what I am doing, I am incrementing that I equal to I plus 1. What will be the output now? Output is 2. So means simply we can say the value 2 we are assigning to the variable I. It will go and create one more object under int class for the value 2. And then later I am printing it. How many objects are created? Already we defined one variable. One object it created in the secondary storage device. Again, in the second time when you increment that, it is creating one more. Now, if you apply the same concept in the while loop, for example, for 100 times, 100 objects it is creating internal. So, okay, we may think I don't care how many objects it creates internally. I'm getting output. Then what is the problem? So the problem is nothing. Only thing is what? The execution will be slow. That means the execution time it will take more time comparing with the other style. Means this one if you are using in case it is just creating every time one object internally and from there it is printing the value. So 100 times if you are using in case in the loop, the same style of increment I equal to I plus 1 style, maybe some fraction of times it will take extra. That is only the thing here. Now for example 100 times, okay, but I said 1000 times. But in case if there is infinite time loop, then there will be a problem. So it means it will take a lot of time for that. So that is why every language it provided, there are two different operators. Generally increment operators, decrement operators, or also shorthand assignment operators. But okay, now coming to the shorthand assignment operators, what it will do. Let me first, okay, this is the one. Shorthand assignment operators here, it is like a plus equal to, minus equal to, star equal to, and then division equal to, then mode equal to, like this. Okay, now in case if I use this, what happens? Now I equal to 1, and then we simply use I plus equal to 1, then print ln I. Here also output is 2. Okay, but the difference is it is not creating object in secondary storage. It will just create at the runtime in the primary storage device, which is in the RAM itself. So at the time of execution, it will create in the primary storage device and then it will execute that. And that means it is taking some time to execute, but it will be fast. Now, for example, even if you are writing 1000 times, it will take less time. The reason I'm not creating a new object every time, say I'm not assigning to the variable. I'm just doing what? Just incrementing it one particular purpose. Means I want to print only the value. That's it. So it incrementing it. But here not like that. It is assigning to the variable and printing it. But here only runtime. So that is the difference. So we use almost shorthand assignment operators. But some other languages, for example, C programming language or any other programming language, especially here Groovy as well, we do have a one more concept which is increment and decrement operators. So this one more fast. That means what you can simply use like we have a like this post increment operators, post increment, and we have a pre increment, and we have a post decrement, post decrement operators, and pre decrement operators. This will be more fast comparing with shorthand, but some languages, as I said, shell scripting and Python, we don't have this increment decrement. We generally use shorthand only. If it is there, then we go with always increment decrement only. So since we have here, we always go with increment decrement, or also you can use this, but this will be some more cost. Okay, so this is defined like that, the algorithm. So this is only for what, whenever if you are performing any while loop or for loop to increment multiple times, we can go with increment or decrement. So okay, what is this post and pre? It's like a postpaid and prepaid. So we know postpaid means what? We are first using that data, whatever it is, like the mobile, and then later paying it based on the bill, how much we utilized. That is postpaid. Prepaid means whatever, like first we have to pay, then later use. The same way here also, post increment means first it will take the variable and then later it increment that. But pre means first it will increment, then later it will take variable value. Post decrement, first it will actually decrement, then later it will take the variable. Pre-decrement means first it will decrement, then later it will take the variable name. So means pre always first it is incrementing, post always first it is taking the variable. For example, let's say I equal to 1 again. Okay, now if I write I plus plus, then print ln I. So here output is 2. Okay, remember output is 2. Now j equal to 1 plus plus j and then print ln j. Here also output is 2. Then what is the difference? So I said different, like post means first it is actually taking the variable, then later it is increment. This is post increment. So like I plus 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 I. Post decrement I minus 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 I. So there is no difference here, but when the difference you can see, for example, x equal to 1, if you simply write print ln x plus plus, the output will be 1. Y equal to 1, if you write print ln, okay, print ln plus plus y, output will be 2. Now you can see the difference here. So what I did here, whenever if you are performing I plus plus, I said that first it will take the variable, then later it increment. What is the variable value? 1. What is that? After that it is incrementing, and then later if you print it will be 2. So means here later if I print ln x, the output will be 2 now. So first it is actually what? Taking the variable, then later it is incrementing. After increment, I am printing that variable value. That is why 2. The other one, j equal to 1 plus plus j, already it incremented, then later it is taking the variable. So anyway, it will be true here. But again, if you see here the other example, I said x equal to 1, print ln x plus plus. So post increment, first it will print x value directly, and then later it is incrementing. Incremented value, if you want to see, then you need to print x again. So now it will be 2. But pre-increment, first it incremented already, then later it is taking the variable. Directly the value will be 2. So even if you print now, println, okay, so if I print println y, output will be 2 only. So now you can understand post increment means first it is taking variable, then later printing. So if you are directly using print function, you will get only 1. But post the pre-increment, first it will increment, then later it is taking the variable. So in the println itself, we will get the value 2. It is depending on what operator if you want to take, you can take it. Exactly opposite the post decrement and pre-decrement as well. So I am saying that this will be more fast even comparing with shorthand assignment operators. So we will discuss with the use cases using with the conditional state, using with loops. There exactly we will understand using with while loop, using with for loop. We'll again discuss these operators. But just remember now, what exactly the post increment, what exactly the pre increment here. Okay, now I hope this one clear now. So the same way you can use minus equal to, the same way we can use star equal to, division equal to, mod equal to. So division operator is what? It will give you the quotient value. Mod operator, it will give you remainder value. So for example, I want to see the given number is even number or odd number. So how to verify? We need to verify based on the remainder. So that means what mod operator we use. So mod operator value is different, division is different. Division always it will give you the quotient value. Mod always it will give you remainder. For example, if I write something for division 2. So division value, what it will provide now? What will be the output here? It will be 2, which is a quotient value. But if I write for mod 2, the output will be what? 0, remainder value. So there is a difference. The same way here, while writing these operators also, based on that only it works. For example, I have some value now, assume x equal to 10. And then if I write x minus 1, if you assign to the x variable, x minus 1 is actually what? 9 now. But instead of that, what we are doing now, x minus equal to 1, then println x. This will be 9 now. Minus equal to. Same way star equal to. Same way division equal to. Same way mod equal to. You can say. Okay. Anyway, we will discuss this again in the loops now later. Now, concatenation and repetition operator. Concatenation we already know. Plus operator we are using. For example, if I want to print something groovy, then plus script. It will print groovy script. So this is the one, concatenation. Like 2 or more strings if you want to add, then we use a plus operator, but the format always, and priority always string first. Even if you are using combination of something int and string priority, it will take always. And repetition is nothing but, I want to repeat one particular string 10 times or 4 times. Unix star. See, output will be Unix, Unix, Unix. So that is how actually I used the println many times hash, right? So I used this hash I used, and then star 20 I used. What is the meaning? It will print actually this hash 20 times. This is a repetition. See, if you are using any numeric value, for example, some number, and then star another number, it will be a multiplication. But if you are using some string value, and then if you are using this, then it is a repetition. There is a lot of difference between these two. So string repetition, multiplication operator, both are actually the same operator. So this is generally polymorphism concept. So polymorphism means the same operator we are using for multiple purposes. So the same function, the same define one function for multiple purposes. So plus operator we are using for different purposes here, addition as well as concatenation. Star we are using for what? Multiplication as well as string repetition, like that. So these are the operators. So anyway, again it will repeat in the conditional statements and loops. So we covered arithmetic, relational, logical assignment, shorthand assignment, concatenation, repetition, and increment decrement operators. Any questions here, anyone? Okay, I'll write the list of conditional statements. We will see that conditional statements in the next session. So the list of conditional statements in Groovy. Okay, so same like any other languages, same here also, conditional statements. What are the list of conditional statements we have? So we have a simple if, and we have if else, and then we have a ladder if, and then we have a nested if, and then we have a switch case. So switch case generally we are using for to display some menu style of scripts. Menu style. I want to select option 1, option 2, option 3, something like that we can use it. But the remaining conditions base. So we do have switch, but the switch case exactly how we are writing we will see. But so, generally these cases actually you can also write with combination with ladder if. We don't have separately switch case concept, but we will see how exactly we are writing switch case with the combination of ladder if, that you'll understand. But before that, see, we should know, for example, while writing the scripts, for example, see, I'm just giving simple idea. You can also try later. So what I'm trying now, for example, let me comment this. So in the println, for example, hello, and in the next line, I want to print some statement, Unix. In the next line, I want to print shell, and in the next line, I want to print Groovy. See, what I'm doing now, I'm using every time /n means new line. So if you are providing new line, what it will do, it will give you one new line actually. Now I can see hello, in the next line Unix, next line shell, next line Groovy. That is a new line. But the same way, we do have a tab space, \t for a tab space. Now, for example, script I'm writing. So what it is doing now, it will print one tab space, then later it will print the value. Now you can see Groovy, then one tab space, then script. Okay, so /n we are using for new line, and \t for tab space. Now, if you know this, basically you can define whatever the way, like for example, see, I'm just writing some style, println in the next line, next line, next line, next line, next line, after tab spaces, I want to print something menu. In the next line, after 4 tabs, 3, 4, okay, 3, 4 tab spaces, I'm just writing star. And in the next line, option 1, okay, something I'm just writing, okay, for example, option 1 for what I'm selecting something name. Option 2, I'm writing for age. Okay, just if you check this output, what exactly it is, it will print something menu. You can see here how it is printing this output. Just one line only, but I just define like that. I define multiple new lines and then tab spaces, and then exactly in the next line, multiple, see, exactly in the next line like a underline. I did that. So the same in the next line, how many tab spaces I provided here? 4 tab spaces. I'm using the 4 tab spaces now, and then stars I printed, and in the next line I printed one name, and next line 2 age. For example, we can also do now. So what we used this one, right? Read line concept. That is what I said. Read line every time we use. So now maybe I use something like this, choice. So choice equal to enter your choice. Just think, okay, like this. Now what I'm doing, I'm just taking input. So purpose may be different cases, but you just think now there are actually what options 1 and 2, 1 for name, 2 for age. Enter your choice. If I select 1, then it should ask enter your name. If I select 2, it should ask enter your age. But this is a something like a menu, but for that actually what we have to write a conditions. So that conditions how to write we should know. You got my point, right? See, with only one line print statement, I define these all the things, but later to validate these all the things, we should know the conditions. So this part anyway we will discuss. in the conditional statements concept. So I hope this one clear now. Any questions here? So just review what we covered today. We discussed how to define variables and how to take input from the keyboard, how to convert the data type and how to check the data type. And then also we discussed the different types of operators and then just provide a list of conditional statements. I hope it's clear now. Yes or no?
Yeah, Babu.
Yes.
Okay. So we will stop today and then Saturday 2 o'clock again we will meet. So Saturday and Sunday we will try to complete all conditional statements, loops and also variables. So variables means, as I said, we have a different types of variables. Like we have a strings again. Strings we still not started. We just discussed how to define string, but in the string again, there are multiple things. Single quoted string, double quoted. Inside the single quote, if I write single quote, what happens? Like quoting rules we should know. Double quotes between double quotes. And then string methods we have. We will discuss the string methods. And then later we will go to the arrays concept. And we will try to understand how to define array, how to access the values, how to replace the values, how to delete the values, and then what are the different types of array methods. And the same way, map, how to define what are the map methods, and then what is the purpose of that, and some use cases we will see. So the next weekend, mostly we will complete conditional statements, loops, and then variables. Okay, this will be the next week agenda. So we'll stop today. We'll continue in the next session. I'll share this recording. So yesterday actually, since festival, I went out and then today we will share it. Okay, both the recordings.
And do you have any document or PPT for this?
No, I never used any PPT for any language. So generally like this flow I go. But if you want, I'll check some documents. I'll share it some PDF. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
Babu.
in case if you have, that will be helpful.
Sure. I'll share it. No problem. Yeah. Okay. So thank you. Then we will stop now. We'll continue in the next week. Thank you. Then have a nice day.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.